Good evening and welcome to a new episode of the Puma in the Cage. Tonight we have three new amazing guests. We have Aaron Simmonds, Cecilia Delatori, and David Tsonos. But first, let's have a look at what I found this week. Since last week, the Prime Minister gave us a little bit more freedom. Yeah, let's go out! But be alert. And so they're asking us to avoid beauty spots. So what shall we do? Shall we go just to ugly spots? Asking for a friend. Also, the Eurovision Song Contest didn't happen, as we know. We needed that so desperately. But at least they showed us the contestants. They didn't compete, but we saw what we would have seen, let's say. And I created my top three. And here's my top three. On number 3 is Iceland.
Baby, I can't wait to know. What do you think about things? Believe it, I will always be there, so you can't tell me anything and I listen.
On number 2, Russia. And on number 1, Iceland again. I know, that's with Farrell. Oops, that's his new Netflix film. It's going to be great. It's like having Eurovision anyway. But, guys, let me tell you, my favorite number 1 is still this one here.
I wonder what's inside your butthole. I wonder what's inside your butthole. Maybe there's astronauts and maybe there's aliens all inside your butthole. What's inside your butthole? I always want to know. What's inside your butthole? I always want to know. What's inside your butt?
Tell us which one are your favorite. And on this note, let's start the show. Here we are. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with all my guests. Next to me, I have Aaron Simmonds.
Hello.
In the lower part, we have David Tsonos. Hello. And Cecilia Delatori. Here we are. How you doing, guys? Are you okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh dear, David, what is going on? Tell me all about it. What is going on?
I just want it to be over. Like at first you could understand, how things were going, and I guess it was a bit of a novelty, but I'm just sick of it now. I just want it over. I want everything back to normal. And it's amazing how many things that you think about during all of this, I lived in the UK for 6 years and I've never been to Italy, and it's just driving me crazy. Like, how in that 6 years have I never gone to Italy? You know what I mean? It's the first thing I'm going to do is just take a trip to Italy, and just all that kind of stuff just drives you crazy that you just can't. To me, I start planning the things I want to do after this is over, and those are just piling up and piling up. You know what I mean?
Good, yeah. I think many people do. I'm doing the same. And so, what is your list? So, is Italy? What else have you got on your list?
Oh, I couldn't even. I'll take up the whole time if I go through my list.
Okay.
Aaron and Cecilia might as well leave if we're just going to do my whole list. Good night, everyone.
Good night, bye. And you, Aaron, how are you coping in this pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, okay. I mean, I quit my day job sort of about 10 months before lockdown happened. So I got quite good at wasting days and sort of knowing that there's nothing to do during the day, so I can watch TV and, get into ridiculous, like really shit TV, but be like obsessive about it, like Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman from the 90s. It's awful.
But what was your day job that you quit?
I was a personal trainer.
So why don't you do something like Joe Wicks? Was it Joe Wicks?
Which you couldn't do right now anyways, right? So, yeah.
So the idea of doing that, I have two problems with. The first, Joe Wicks is doing it a lot more successfully than I could ever do. And secondly, I think of it as potentially the worst thing that I could probably do right now. I grew very resentful of being a personal trainer towards the end of it. I didn't want to do it anymore. I wanted to be a comedian. It's just not my style. Like it just wouldn't work for me. Weirdly, but I'll tell you this, Romina, after 8 years of being a personal trainer, and then once my job of being a comedian was wiped out, it did occur to me to try and do some kind of personal training. And it didn't need someone to tell me about it at a chat show. So
there you go.
It just seemed like a ridiculously pointless thing to do. And the idea of being called a shit Joe Wicks is honestly the most insulting thing that anybody could say to me.
But do you, as a personal trainer, I think it probably is in you. Do you work out anyway, just for yourself to keep fit?
I have gone to seed. So I used to. Oh, bye, David. David finds this very
David's
boring.
gone.
David's gone. But,
he's
gone.
Well, I can't compete with this. I'm telling stories about working out compared to a cat. No, I used to work out sort of professionally, as it were, to maintain like I was in relatively good shape, because it's important. I don't enjoy working out. I do it more. I did it more once I became a full-time comic because I had more time during the day.
Yeah.
But I don't really enjoy it. It's sort of something I was good at rather than something I did because I loved it.
And you, Cecilia, how are you coping?
I'm sort of. I've been forbidden by the Prime Minister from visiting my mother, and this is a dream come true. It's a dream come true. I'm loving it. I am living a dream actually, because I've always dreamed of being a recluse. And that's what I'm living. I love it. And that's awful, but I do enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm having the time of my life because
I hate all of you.
I do my workout in the morning, which is dance routines done by the Strictly Come Dancing dancers.
Wow.
So I do that every morning. Then I do a bit of gardening. Then I do my cooking. And then I do my shit. And I'm here. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to, go on public transport. The team. I love it. I just love it. I'm having the time of my. Sorry, guys.
That's brilliant.
But is there anything that you never done before that you do now, David? Is there anything that you done before? What is
two things. Now I've always enjoyed cooking, but now I just take it to a different level. Like I learned to make like pasta from scratch and pizza from scratch. And I make Indian with my own naan bread, and I make all the curries myself. Like just everything I used to do where I might just grab a sauce or a pre-made dough. I'm like, I have time to make it all from scratch. Wow. You know what I mean? And
yeah. And isn't it more satisfying?
It's just like, but that'll take 3 hours. Well, I've got 3 hours to kill. Wow. Yeah, it is. I hope I don't go back to, just buying that pre-made dough or pre-made sauces and everything like that afterwards. But it is an ordeal. You can really feel for people who have to do that every day of their life too, especially back in the day. I feel like a 50s housewife, actually, is what I feel like. Because my wife is still working. So she's working and I'm just at home all the time, taking care of the garden and the cat and doing all the household stuff.
Nice, nice. And you, Aaron, is there anything?
The other thing is that
yeah, you had two
the only-
things. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Dave.
I guess I was finished. Okay.
No,
yeah.
no, sorry, I forgot that you had two things. What is the other things? I'm sorry. I'm
It's two
sorry.
things. I actually do yoga now. I actually do
wow.
yoga, and I never thought. It's always something I was interested in, but I don't think I could ever do it in a classroom. I don't think I'm a classroom kind of person, you know? I think that like something would be funny to me and I'd be embarrassed that everyone's trying to be serious and I would be trying to be funny, you know, or I don't know what, but they have so much on YouTube that you could do that now. So I started doing a little bit of that. Just you know, it kills time and it's something that I've always been interested in. So, you know, now's the
Nice.
time, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Have you become a little bit more
Namaste.
namaste? Are you more stretching? Are you more bendy now? Or
Yeah, it fucking hurts, to be honest with you.
it does,
painful.
it does, it does.
Yeah, I guess you get used to it after a while, but I keep upping it. Like I do a harder one every time, and it's harder than it looks. That's for sure.
And you, Aaron?
So, I mean, the main thing that's different about me since lockdowns sort of happened is that I will now talk to strangers. Like,
Yeah.
I will talk to the people in Sainsbury's because I am so starved of human interaction. I'm just like,
Yeah.
oh, how's your day going? Is it all right? And like before, I used to have headphones on, not even any music playing, just headphones on, so people didn't talk to me. And like, you must know this is like fellow December, but like people tend to talk to me a little bit more than an able-bodied person. Check that you're okay, all that kind of stuff. Never interested in it. But as soon as like a cashier person comes up to me and like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm doing all right. How are you doing? It's been a good week. What have you been up to? Like, and I just want to chat so much. Like I'm like, oh my God, I can breathe outside air. What is it? I've completely forgotten like the miserable bastard that I used to be in public, which I'm upset about. I miss that guy.
Oh dear. I thought it was a positive
I remember
thing.
that person. I remember.
Yeah, dickhead, right? What a guy.
No, I used to like to chat to people, but now like leave me alone. Like the other day, I nearly punched in the face a couple. I was in BNQ, right? Trying to pick some herbs that I wanted to plant in my garden, and they literally came nearly on top of me. And I was like, what the fuck? So I moved and I looked at them, you know, with that kind of look that I'm going to punch in the face now. And they were like nothing happened. I hate people.
Romina, can I ask you a quick question?
Uh-huh.
Are your arms 2 meters long? Otherwise, that's a very dangerous maneuver.
What? Punch them in the face?
Yeah, if you can't stay 2 meters away from them whilst punching them in the face.
No, because they were so close, so I could punch them in the face very easily. And then move away and disinfect myself. And
Great.
And you, Cecilia, is there anything that you've never done before?
What I've been doing for the very first time is playing the piano and singing at the same time. I've got this keyboard, but I haven't played it really since I got it a year and a half ago. But I've been playing songs and singing at the same time, and I've never done that before. But also, I've been doing it in public, and I've never done that before. So I've made a little video of an Elton John parody that I did, and I did a video of that. So that's a big thing, playing and singing at the piano for the first time.
Nice.
Maybe for the last time.
Are you going to play for us?
Shall I? I'll give you. Yeah, I'll try something. See, I've got the keyboard
play
here,
for us.
Can you hear this? This is a parody of an Elton John song that you might remember. Can you hear this?
Yes.
Can you hear this?
Yes, we can hear
that.
fine. Yeah.
A bit louder, maybe.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Okay. Okay. Let's hope this goes. Let's go. It's been a few months now of quarantine. I've been watching TV solidly since March 16th. The only time I get off my arse is to lean out of my window and clap for the care workers. I never thought that I could save lives on my backside with a box set of Desperate Housewives. Downton Abbey, Don't Tell the Bride, Homes Under the Hammer, and Too Fat to Fly. And don't you know I'm still sitting better than I ever did, working my way through a crate of Budweiser, watching Flog It. I'm still sitting after all this time, catching up on Tiger King and binge watching everything on Amazon Prime. I'm still sitting,
Yeah.
and I'm scoffing stockpiled pasta in my underwear. Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
Can I just say, that's just an incredibly great song, but so bold to sing it to two disabled comedians. But fair play.
The perfect song for us. I'm still sitting.
Yeah, I mean, that was my life before.
I'm so sorry. I do apologise.
But you mentioned that watching Tiger King. Have you watched Tiger King?
Yeah, it's amazing.
I have, to be honest, I have heard about it.
Yeah, and you haven't watched it.
I haven't, no.
Don't waste your time.
What? It's amazing.
They're going to make
They're
a musical.
all insane.
Yeah,
You watch it for the couple of episodes, and you're like, okay, well, they're the insane one. Everyone else will be normal. And they're all insane.
I agree, but I think all that 8 episodes could have been edited very easily in Max 2.
Okay.
That is my review. I think it was a little bit. I was like, oh God, how long? What else is gonna happen here? Who's gonna get killed?
Why is it so popular?
So I think it's a couple of things. I think
it's a
partly
glimpse
because it is lockdown and like it
Yeah.
it came at the right time.
Yeah.
And
it's
everyone was on Netflix and they're like, oh, this is the thing.
to me it's
and
a
it-
glimpse
and
into
people
a
wanted to
world
have
that you
some
never
sort of-
would have thought.
Yeah.
Go, Dave.
Go, Dave.
Yeah, to me it's a glimpse into a world that you have no idea existed. You know what I mean? Like the fact that anybody can actually keep tigers as pets is insane to the rest of us, and this exists somewhere in the world. And the people who have them fight against the other people who have them, and they're really like they argue as to who is better for the tigers, and they're about the same person anyways. It's just insane that this actually exists, and it's so different from everybody's world that you're watching it like this is nothing like anything I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
That's what I think is so popular about it. Of course, I drink a little.
Yeah, I had a few drinks to go through those.
Oh God.
I mean, the thing is, for me, you've got a character at the center of it who is essentially David Brent, but with tigers, guns, and being incredibly gay in a very homophobic state, and having multiple husbands, and it's just insanity.
Like I said, it's just a different world.
Yeah.
Everything about him is just a different world. Yeah.
It just comes out of and then the questions that it poses at the end of each episode just makes you want to watch the next episode. Like, think, okay, well that was fun, but I can leave it now. And then they say, hey, I think she killed her husband. What?
Yeah.
What? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm watching the next episode then.
Yeah.
And so that's why people binged it.
And I'll have a few drinks. And that brings us to our first question of today. So if you were a drink, which one would you be and why? David.
Me again.
Yes, you again.
I hate this question. Tom Collins, I would say.
What's in the Tom Collins?
Well, if you don't know, then you just don't know me at all now, do you?
I know you for this. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
What's that?
No, it's this.
What was this?
It was this. It was
David,
this, yeah,
you
yeah.
explain. What was that?
Oh God! Why do you keep telling me these things? It takes up too much time.
No, it's quick.
Romina invited me to a great show that she does, and it was an Italian show. And all the comics, I thought it was going to be Italian comics doing comedy in English, but several of them were doing it in Italian, and people in the audience
Where Italian.
were Italian, of course, but some of them didn't speak English. So I got Romina's friend to stand next to me and translate all the language for me. So she translated all my jokes into Italian. And at one point, I do a joke about the Canadian beaver, and she went like this for the Canadian beaver. I'm like, how is this charade or an interpretation of a Canadian? This is what she did. She just said, a Canadian beaver in Italian. So needless to say, I was just doing this the whole show.
Yeah. Yeah. So now every time I think about David, I have this
Tom
image.
Collins. Yeah.
I did that Italian gig
that
as
was
well.
her artist's interpretation of a beaver.
Yeah. I think all of you played my gig.
Yeah, I've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got
there you go.
dumped 20 minutes after
Why did
that
I
gig.
have to explain what the gig was to everybody?
Yeah, I remember when we did the gig together in May in Manchester. I think you mentioned that on stage there. Last time we gigged together after the gig you got down.
Yeah, so I took this girl to the gig, and I really liked it. I thought it was going pretty well. And then I did the gig, and it went surprisingly okay considering half the audience couldn't speak English, or they just sat politely and were just like, yeah, this is fine. And then she dumped me.
Yeah, they're not.
So,
He's blaming me, basically.
I mean, she was very nice about it. She just said,
I'm sorry.
Look, I'd like to keep seeing you, but if you keep taking me to Italian-based stand-up comedy nights, I just can't continue.
Well, at least today we are in English, so.
That's true. And there's no chance of anyone dumping me.
No. Good. So tell me, David, what is in the, was it John Collins? You said no.
Tom Collins. It's
Tom
gin,
Collins.
Gin, lemon juice, and then you could do sugar and soda, but some people just put Sprite or 7-Up instead of that.
I see.
And then you mix it all up. So it's kind of a gin and tonic with a twist, a little more lemony, a little quite nice.
A quirky gin tea. Let's
Cheers.
And you, Aaron?
So I thought about it for about
3 seconds.
15 minutes. No, so my answer is a McDonald's chocolate milkshake. Fine on its own, but it's a bit much when it's with everybody else. And with, with a Big Mac and fries, you just don't really need it. But if it's 2:00 in the morning and you just need something, very useful.
Perfect. Nice. And you, Cecilia?
I thought that maybe I'm probably a bit like a cask lager in the sense that I'm well aged and dry and a bit bitter.
There you go. There you go. I think I would be an Aperol Spritzer.
Oh, I love those.
That is slightly sweet, but it's also be bitter, and it's very sparkly and bubbly. I think that is pretty much me. Right, we have another question, guys. Let's see, second question. Tell us your best and worst gig. We only have 5 minutes, so you can choose if you want to tell us about your worst or your best gig. David, let's start with you.
Let's go worst, because I'm still waiting for the best one to happen.
Yeah, the worst gigs are way more fun to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, the best gigs we went there was great. Yeah, that's the end of the story. Yeah. I had a gig. This is my worst one in the UK. I had a gig in Chester, and somehow
Say no more.
I don't even remember how I got it, but I had a free National Express round trip to anywhere in the UK. It was weird. I still can't remember exactly how I got it. Something happened. Something got canceled or it was late. And they said, tell you what, to make up for it, here's a free ticket anywhere you want to go in the UK and back, right? So it was a free ticket. I thought, oh, cool. I'll use it. I'll go to Chester to do this gig, stay the night and come back. And I didn't realize that the National Express from London to Chester goes through Wales. So it's 7 hours to get from London to Chester.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, that's the start of my
That is just the start.
day, right? 7 hours to get there. I get there and it's supposed to be a military show. It's a corporate gig and it's supposed to be a military show. But it's weird because everyone's in tuxedos, what they didn't tell me about. So it's like a formal wear military thing. I have no idea why they're all dressed like super nice. And I'm okay. I'm wearing like a suit, but I'm not wearing a tuxedo. So clearly I stand out, right? And how they had the show was like a band, then a magician, then and the band, and then me, and then the band again. And it was horrific. It was absolutely horrible. No one was paying any attention to me whatsoever. They didn't even understand what was going on. It just looked like a guy who was introducing the band for 25 minutes. They're like, what is this guy doing? Why is he? That's what I looked like on stage. I looked like a guy who was going to bring the band back up, and it took me 25 minutes to do that.
Oh, dear.
It's just like, why isn't he bringing the band up? Like, they just didn't get it. I looked so out of place, out of accent. He was all British military guy. I don't know who booked it, thinking I'd be perfect for it. And then I had to go back to my lonely hotel room and wake up like about 8 in to take the 7-hour bus ride
Back.
after that.
Oh my God, that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
And you, Aaron, your worst gig?
Yeah, very different. So I did it in London, below a pizza place. David no names, but David definitely knows this place. It's called Cafe Mode. It was a fucking shithole. And apparently it's very nice now. I don't know. I don't do it anymore. So it's underneath this pizza place. And they used to have a Groupon deal, which was pizza and comedy for about 7-8 quid or something. And so you'd get no money as the comic, but they would have sort of 20, 25 seats downstairs. Yeah. And they would, range in terms of numbers between 2 and sort of 20, maybe 30 on like a Friday or Saturday night. And this one time I was doing it, it was just me and another comic, and there were 6 people in the audience with seats set out for 25. Now, common sense would dictate that, so it was a couple and a family of 4. Common sense would dictate that the couple would be on the first row and the family of 4 would be in the second row. You can have a sort of a nice time, pretend it's just the 6th. Right. No. The family of 4 sat on the back row. The couple sat on the front row. Before the show, I went up to the family of 4 and be like, look, we don't have many people in the audience. Do you want to just come a little bit further? Like, absolutely not. As I got on stage, so I was going to be the first act. I was doing 20 minutes. I hadn't been doing 20s very long at this point, but I had my 20 minutes. I knew what I was going to do. As I came on stage, the couple started making out.
Oh my God.
And that threw me, I'll be honest, because I wasn't expecting that. And I don't think I'm particularly good looking, particularly to the state where they're like, oh, look at that guy. We need to start. I can't handle this anymore. Let's just make out. And so I mentioned it, and they were like, come off it, mate. Why would you take the piss out of us? I was like, A, you're in the front row. B, there's nobody else in this room. And C, you're fucking making out in the front row. Why would I not mention it? So it got off to a really awkward, frosty start, and didn't get any better for the next sort of 10 minutes when I went into like tried and tested stuff. And then about 12 minutes into my stuff, they started making out again. And it was about that time where I decided that I would leave them alone and chat to the family. And I wouldn't say it was a nice gig after that point, but I would say it was quite a nice chat. Nobody laughed, but we all got on, And by the time, so I introduced the next act, and the other two left. So it was just four. So it was just an empty room of like 20 chairs, and then 4 people at the back.
Oh,
And so
dear.
he just climbed over all the chairs, and he actually had a quite good gig.
Oh dear.
But it didn't take 14 hours worth of traveling.
Yeah, at least that.
1-0.
Let's look at the bright side. And you, Cecilia, literally 2 minutes.
The worst gig was when I played the Watford Coliseum, which is a 1,000-seater theatre, which I thought was going to be a really big deal, and I was really excited. And I was supposed to be opening for Menopause the musical. And I thought, of course, I was too young, but to be considered. But anyway, and it was unusual to be asked to open for a musical because you don't get that. So anyway, I turned up, and then I realised when I got there that I was to be playing a 45-minute comedy set with my guitar in the foyer of the Watford Coliseum before the show. Kind of, yeah, that was the gig. And the moment I realised it was all over, because like David, exactly like David, they ignored me completely for 45 minutes. And my payment was a small glass of wine and a ticket to see Menopause the musical, which was fantastic. But yeah, ignored for 45 minutes. I had to 45 minutes. Nightmare.
I bet, yeah, I had plenty of those. Get ignored. They're terrible. But they make you stronger.
Yes, they do. Yes,
So they say. But guys, we have come to an end. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for coming on the Puma in the Cage. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, David. Thank you, Cecilia. And I hope we see you soon.
Okay.
Thank you so
I'm not
much.
joining you with that.
Okay.
See you later, guys.
Ciao. Thank you,
Okay.
guys. Thank
Okay.
you. So that was it for today. Thank you so much for staying with us. And I'll see you all next week. We'll have Mel, Byron, Lauren, Carl. And she has these 2 amazing characters, a drag queen Louis Fondini and a burlesque Loretta Fondini, and John Long. And I've been Romina Puma. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next week. Bye-bye.